Interesting story that came out today that Branthwaite has rejected a new deal at Everton, and has essentially said, unless you match the £160,000 a week that Manchester United were going to pay me, I am not signing a new deal. So it doesn't. The thought was that this deal was over. He'd get a new deal, he'd sign it, and it'll be the end of it. But Branthwaite seemingly sort of pushing for a little bit of a move, you could argue here, by saying, I'm not just going to sign a new deal for an extra 30, 40 grand a week. You either give me what United gave me or I'm not signing one, which of course strengthens Man United's position in the pursuit of him. We haven't pushed on with the De Ligt deal, and it's quite well publicised that we want 2 centre-backs. Thoughts on that, David?
He's a good centre-back, and I can see why you'd sign him. My only issue with it is, do you want 2 very young centre-backs being your main centre-back pairing? That'd be my only... Well, of course, there's Lissandra already, so yeah, but obviously Lenny Yoro's only 18. Do you really want to have potentially a centre-back pairing where you have an 18-year-old, and I think Jarrett's 21, I want to say?
22.
22.
I think 22, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's just have 2 young centre-backs. That'd be my only issue with it. But apart from that, it's a good signing. And, it's a good partner to have. He's been very good. Should have been in England.
He's more than right. I think he's more than right in a position to do what you're saying. I demand 160k that you guys are offering, because they're making it a tough price, pushing for that 70 million that we all know he's not worth that. He's trying to push up for a price that Everton are just being cheeky. So I think what he's doing right now, demanding for the 160 or making himself leave, he's in a good position. But Man United, I do have to disagree with David there. I think you guys having 2 younger centre-backs, with them being young, you don't really have to look at their age. They both played quite a bit of games for the age that they are. I think Yoro got into the league on team of the season, if I'm right. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he may have got into the team of the season. And Branthwaite's been playing for a few years at the top level. So even though they're young, one of them be deputising the other and sort of battling out for that second position to partner Lissandra. So it could be a good pairing. I think it's probably what Ten Hag's needed to potentially, because I actually had a lot of young players and it seemed to work for him doing that. So I think it could be good for Man United.
Branthwaite has played 115 professional games. So that for me, I agree with you. That kind of fits into that mold of, and he's 22. He's young, but he's not a baby, if that makes sense. He's experienced enough. There's still some rawness there, no doubt. I'd still prefer Branthwaite over De Ligt. I like De Ligt. I think he's a good player, but something about Branthwaite, Lenny Yoro, Lissandra as our main 3 centre-backs. I like all their ability on the ball. I like their know-how. I like their profiles. I love the age of them all. Got one of the best centre-backs in the world in Lissandra, if we can keep him fit. Those 2 then being kind of nurtured around them, I think would be absolutely brilliant. But I also like what Branthwaite's doing. If I try and remove my Man United hat and don't look at it from my perspective, I find too many players try to get moves away and then they sign these new deals. And I get that you've got to take care of yourself in the here and now. You can get a bad knee injury, never play again, theoretically. So you want to try and get as much money in on a contract as you can. But he signs a new deal that's worth 100 grand a week. It makes it even harder for him to leave next year, as an example. And I sort of sit there and think, back yourself a little bit and say, actually, no, I'm not signing a new deal. We mentioned Harry Kane earlier. I think the biggest mistake he made was carried on. Where Spurs went through that process of, it felt like every 18 months, all your best players are getting new deals. And it made it harder for the likes of Harry Kane to leave, when one, he would have made you guys more money, and he was probably going to go out at a better stage in his career. And I know it's hard because, again, these footballers want to earn their money. They want it on a contract. They want to know that they're fixed for life no matter what happens. And I'm not too sure what he earns. I'm sure it isn't too much money at the age that he is at Everton. But I like what he's doing. I think it's the right thing. He clearly doesn't want to be there anymore. He's had his head turned. And I know that Everton are sort of playing hardball and they want stupid money off Man United, like 70-odd million pounds. But him doing this, it helped. I mean, I hope it goes further. I hope he throws in a transfer request as well and drives that price down. I think what we offered for him, 40 to 50 million, I think it's a really fair price. According to the report, it's 160k a week.
He's on 35k at Everton.
Yeah, so I kind of get why he might sign a new deal, but it's a case of, unless they're going to pay you close to that 160, don't do it. Like, 30 grand a week still a lot of money. Don't sign
It's
it.
4 times his wages though. Like he's got to be thinking, well, hang on, I can earn this
Yeah.
at the biggest club. Well,
only
in my opinion, top 3 biggest clubs in the world.
The only problem is, like, for him, I'm with Tell. I wouldn't sign it if I'm him. Why? You're going to get picked up. It does. Like, I know people say if you get injured, if that, but as a player, you're never really fully thinking like that, are you? You don't play the game by game thinking I could never play again tomorrow, sort of thing. Listen, they're being out of order to him. So therefore, I think they deserve him to do what he's doing. I think he's done nothing wrong. They're outpriced him massively. When you've seen Euro go for 50 million, you've seen Calafiori go to Arsenal for 35. Yeah, you're looking at these sort of transfers and you're going, so why are you asking for 70 million for this guy? You're just outpricing him because you can and you want to make money.
They don't need to sell.
Premier League tax,
Yeah,
homegrown
Yeah, but this
tax,
Premier
all
League
of the
tax
above.
needs to
No,
end.
but
Like,
if you look at it from Everton's point of view, it's their one of their best players they've produced in a while. They don't have to sell because they've sold Onana for 50 mil. They need him to survive in the Premier League. You've got to buy him out. It's the same thing with, is Declan Rice really 100 mil? No. But to West Ham, he was worth that. So Arsenal paid it. So to Everton are saying they're
But I
worth,
think
he's worth 7 mil to
I
us, so
kind of
pay
get
him.
that, but if Onana, I mean, typically speaking, midfielders are more expensive than defenders, and strikers and attackers are more expensive than midfielders, typically speaking. So if their best midfielder, who they also need to survive, is sold for 50 million, you can't be asking for 20 million pounds more for a less experienced player who doesn't even play for his international side, who plays in a position that is typically cheaper to buy. He is not a better centre back than Onana is midfielder. So even on a pound for pound level, it doesn't make sense.
Now Onana's gone, he's needed even more. Because if you get rid of both of them, then you've got to fix 2 holes in your squad.
I get it, but I mean, they have got financial issues. There's no doubt that they're 600 million in debt with a club that only turns over 170 million a year. Their takeover has fallen through. They're an absolute. Listen, I hope nothing bad happens to their football club. I really, really do. But I agree. I think they're taking the proverbial out of the player. They're being exceedingly greedy because of their financial issues. And I think they're dealing with the Man United of the last 11 years and not the new regime, because Ed Woodward would have bent over by now and gone, okay, in fact, I'll pay 80. I'll pay 80 for goodwill. 10 million goodwill on top. That's what he did.
Even though I understand why Everton priced him out, as if I was Branthwaite, I completely understand where he's coming from. He's better than Everton. Like the quality of the player, he's better than Everton. I think he should be at a top 6 team. I think he starts for Spurs, in my opinion. I think he will challenge Man United.
Say that again. You think Branthwaite start over Van der Ven?
You're playing 3 at the back, though, no?
Nah. He's not better than Romero. He's not even on the same planet as Romero.
I mean, even then, that would be an
same
argument.
planet.
That would be an argument.
Same
he just
planet
got
as
defender
Romero.
of the tournament, the Copa America. This is a guy that got married.
Stop it.
Romero's one of the best defenders in the league. Stop this. Stop the foolishness.
a good player.
I'm backing the Spurs boys. I'm backing the Spurs boys here. As long as Romero keeps his head, that guy's class. As long as he don't.
Doesn't keep his head.
He's good. But I don't think he's like light years ahead of Branthwaite in terms of like they're not on the same planet.
Why not?
I can name 5 better centre backs easy.
Who's your third centre back in your back 3?
Ben Davies. Oh, forgot about him.
He's
better than Dragusin. Stop it.
Hold on, George. You don't think I can name 5 better
he doesn't start for us.
Romero in the league.
That was the question. He starts.
I still think he starts. I don't rate Romero.
It's an argument. It's not out of the question, but it's an argument.
When Van der Ven's hamstring snaps again this season because of that bloody high line, it's over for him. Once that pace goes, he's finished.
People have been saying about Kyle Walker for the last 15 years.
Yeah, but his hamstrings didn't go, did they?
Bro, Staffy, relax.
Yeah. I'm winding you up, boy. Romero is top 3 centre backs in the world right now.
What are you talking about, bro? He ain't even top 5 in the Premier League, bro. What am I hearing, bro? There's this thing about Romero, bro. Listen, I'm gonna say it now. Yeah, Saliba's better than him. Gabriel's better than him.
Gabriel's not better than him, man.
Bro,
Gabriel is better.
Stones is better than him. Stones is better than him. Yeah, Lissandro Martinez.
Stones didn't have a good season.
Stones had a howler of a tournament.
Bro, Konate and Van Dijk are better than him, man.
Konate's not better than man.
Oh
Yes,
my
he
God.
is, David.
Bro,
Now,
you guys
don't do this.
overhype
Let's
him,
not
bro.
do
You
this.
guys overhype him, bro.
No,
Like, I'll be
man, I
real.
think-
To
I
say
think 'cause
Gabriel
he-
ain't better than him when they're playing
If he
different
didn't have,
realms
if he didn't
right
have a
now.
Spurs shirt
yeah.
on, people would think he's class. I think he's great.
No
I think-
way. He stinks, bro. He
No,
gets
he
himself
doesn't.
sent off
You
all the
see,
time.
that's
He can't
not
even
right.
tackle
Hey, I
properly.
won't say he
Hang on,
stinks.
hang on, hang
And
on.
do you know what?
I
It's,
just
it's
think you
actually a
overhype
fake
him as
narrative. It's
Spurs
actually a
fan.
fake narrative that he's so aggressive at times. Because I mean, in the whole of the tournament, I think he had 3 fouls in the whole of the tournament and like 1 card.
Nah, we are
Or
not.
He
in-
plays
in
better.
the
Listen,
whole of
you,
the Copa
you know
America
how I know
tournament.
about
So if you
Spurs fans because he plays good for Argentina. I'll give you that. But you always go to his Argentina performances when you want to say how good.
No,
he
because
is.
if you actually watch his Spurs
Exactly.
performances,
Bro.
he's
Gabriel
class.
just
He's
sat
our
on the
best
bench
centre-back.
for an entire
Weren't he,
tournament.
weren't he,
Don't
weren't
mean
he
that.
part of
He
a
sat
Spurs
there for
defense?
at
Weren't he part of a
least.
Spurs defense last season that conceded more goals than Man United?
That's because we only have 2 defenders because the fullbacks are in the midfield.
Ah, it's not either. So okay, your club. It's
Assange.
not your
We don't have
players'
a Declan
fault.
Rice or a
Oh,
Jorginho sitting in
oh.
front.
It won't
Hang on,
happen
you got
this season.
Basuma though,
It
no?
won't happen
You got
this season.
Basuma though, no?
Hang on a minute. You just mentioned Declan Rice and Jorginho. I mentioned Man United. Did you see our midfield last year with the
No,
holes?
the argument was that Brentford.
No. My point was he was part of a defense that conceded more goals than Man United, who had no midfield last year with the way we set up. You are going on to his
Yeah, that's
international
on us. We've been
performances.
tactically naive a lot of the time.
Ah, that old
Yeah, I admit.
chestnut.
And
Nah,
Andrew
nah,
was
Terry, to be
was
fair, do
found
you
out
remember
towards the end of
what
the
happened
season.
when they had 9 people? These men pressed higher. Do you know how bad that is? Do you know how
Oh my,
bad that
we
is?
had
on a
8
real
outfield
level,
players.
I think Romero's good. I wouldn't say top 3 in the world.
Nah,
I
it's a
think
bit of a
that's
stretch.
Wild.
I think that's a bit of a stretch. I think he's a good centre back when he ain't being rash. Equally, I do think he's one of those players, Romero, that if he isn't being a bit mental, I think you take away from his game. Like Wayne Rooney, for me, when he started to calm down about 25, become a worse player. Wayne Rooney, when he was a nutcase, was at his best. And some players need to be on that edge to bring the best out of their game. But yeah, Staffy there with an howler.